Welcome back to Underworld Icons. Today we're talking about a story a lot of people think they know, but very few actually understand. This is the story of Jay-Z, before the billions, before the Grammys, before the corporate boardrooms, and more importantly, this is the story of his childhood friend, his right-hand man, someone he once called a brother DeHaven, also known as Headache. Now, if you're not familiar with DeHaven, don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why his name still comes up whenever people talk about Jay-Z's past, and why this situation still sparks debate to this day. Jay-Z and DeHaven didn't meet through music. They didn't meet through fame. They met as kids growing up together in the Marcy Projects in Brooklyn. Not just in the same neighborhood either. They lived across the hall from each other. Same building, same hallways, same struggle. They wore each other's clothes, shared money, shared secrets. They even joked that they were so close they called each other brothers. This wasn't just a friendship. This was family. And when you grow up like that, loyalty isn't optional. It's survival. DeHaven was a hustler. Now here's where things start to get interesting. According to DeHaven himself and even Jay-Z's own lyrics, DeHaven was the one getting serious money in the streets first. Jay has said it before. DeHaven introduced me to the game. Spanish Jose introduced me to Kane. That wasn't just rap talk. DeHaven was moving around Brooklyn, Philly, Maryland, and the Eastern Shore, building connections, getting paid, and learning how the streets really worked. Jay was in the mix too, but DeHaven was ahead of the curve. And it wasn't just about money. There were times when DeHaven literally protected Jay-Z with his life. This part gets overlooked a lot. There were situations where dudes had the drop on Jay. Robbery setups, street beef, and DeHaven stepped in. By his own account, he took bullets meant for Jay-Z because he couldn't let his brother get hit. Not just because of loyalty, but because they were both tied into the same environment, the same consequences. That's real street loyalty. That's not something you forget easily. Another major piece of this story, Emory Jones. DeHaven is the one who introduced Jay-Z to Emory. That relationship went on to become one of Jay-Z's longest and most consistent friendships, even through federal time. To this day, Emory and Jay are still cool, and that's important because DeHaven was the bridge that made that happen. Before Jay-Z was Jay-Z, let's clear something else up. Before Jay-Z had money for chains, videos, and his image, DeHaven helped fund that look. That anchor chain everyone remembers, that street-polished image in the early videos, DeHaven had a hand in that. He believed in Jay's talent. He invested time, money, and effort into him. Not as a business move, but because that was his brother. He even helped Jay and Dame Dash in the early stages of Roc-A-Fella, before it became what it eventually turned into. DeHaven began to slowly leave the game it was because things changed. DeHaven started noticing the shift in the streets. More bodies, more betrayal, more chaos. He tells the story about sitting in a room late at night, counting money, around $700,000. His girl looks at him and says, "That's not enough. We need to get out." That hit him. So DeHaven did something most people don't do. He walked away. He packed up and moved to North Carolina, trying to leave the game behind before it buried him. But before that happened, the feds came knocking. Not long after that, the federal government rushed in. Investigations, indictments, RICO charges. Emory and others get hit, and somehow DeHaven's name gets pulled into it, even though he hadn't been active for years. They label him a RICO defendant. DeHaven fights the case, gets a lawyer, stands his ground, and the judge looks at the facts. DeHaven hadn't been in the game for 3 years. The case falls apart. Mistrial, case dismissed, DeHaven walks free. But here's where things get dark. Somewhere along the line, a rumor starts spreading that DeHaven told. Nobody ever proved it. No paperwork surfaced, no official statements. But in the streets, rumors don't need proof. They just need repetition. And once that label sticks, it's hard to shake. DeHaven says he doesn't know who put it out there, but his name was never fully cleared. Jay-Z pulls away. This is where the pain really shows. DeHaven comes home expecting to reconnect, expecting brotherhood instead of distance. Jay-Z is now a superstar, moving different, talking different. At first, Jay still spoke positively about DeHaven in interviews and songs. Then sudden or nothing. No calls, no protection, no position. Meanwhile, everyone around Jay, Emery, Ty has a role. And DeHaven, the man who helped build the foundation, left behind. Jay-Z exposed. Years later, DeHaven releases a short documentary called Jay-Z Exposed. It goes viral. Not because it's flashy, but because it's emotional and heartfelt. You can hear the pain in his voice. This isn't a man chasing clout. This is a man asking, what happened to my brother? Even DeHaven's own daughter reportedly asked him, what happened between you and my godfather? That says everything. Is DeHaven really a rat? Here's where people need to think logically. If DeHaven really told, why is he still comfortable in Marcy Projects to this day? Why is he able to walk around freely? Why hasn't anyone checked him? Marcy isn't known for letting rats slide. If DeHaven had paperwork on him, it would be known. Instead, people who grew up around him still show respect. That tells you something. Let's be honest. Jay-Z has a history of cutting people off once he outgrows them. Jazzo, Dame Dash, even old street ties. That doesn't make him evil, but it does raise questions. Was DeHaven cut off because of rumors? Because Jay was protecting his image? Or because DeHaven reminded him of a past he wanted to bury? Only Jay-Z knows. At the end of the day, this isn't about money. It's about loyalty. DeHaven never said he wanted Jay's spot. He never said he wanted a handout. He wanted acknowledgement, respect, brotherhood. And that's what makes this story so powerful. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Jay-Z did DeHaven wrong? Do you believe the rumors or the man's actions? Was this survival or betrayal? What really makes this situation hit different is the timing. Jay-Z didn't cut DeHaven off when they were both struggling. He didn't cut him off when the money was low. He didn't cut him off when the streets were hot. The distance came after the success, after the fame, after the image mattered more than the history. And that's something a lot of people can relate to, not just in the streets, but in real life. How many times have you seen someone make it out, level up, and suddenly the people who were there from day one don't fit the picture anymore? That's why this story still gets people talking, because from DeHaven's perspective, this wasn't about business, it was about brotherhood. This was someone who slept across the hall from Jay, someone who took bullets for him, someone who put money behind him before the world even knew his name. And yet when DeHaven came home, there was no seat at the table, no public acknowledgement, no clearing his name, no real conversation, just silence. Some people say Jay did what he had to do to protect his brand. Others say once the rumors started, Jay chose distance over loyalty. And then there are those who believe Jay always planned to move forward alone, and this was just part of that process. The truth, we may never fully know. But what we do know is this: DeHaven isn't hiding. He isn't running. He isn't ducking smoke. He's still comfortable in places where uncomfortable questions get asked, and that alone makes people pause. And it forces you to ask, if the streets really believed what DeHaven told, would he still be standing where he stands today? That's why this story doesn't have a clean ending. There's no paperwork, no final verdict, just two men who started in the same hallway and ended up in completely different worlds. One became a billionaire, the other became a question mark. And sometimes that's the most painful ending of all, because not every fallout ends with gunshots or court cases. Some end quietly with unanswered calls, missed chances, and a brother who never got an explanation. And that's why stories like this matter. They remind us that behind the legends, the music, and the money, there are real people, real choices, and real consequences. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Jay-Z owed DeHaven loyalty, or was this just the cost of survival? Do you believe DeHaven was wronged, or did Jay do what he had to do? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. And if you got value from this breakdown, hit the like button. It helps the channel more than you think. Subscribe if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss future uploads. And if you want more stories like this, watch the video below for more true crime and underworld history you won't hear anywhere else. This is Underworld Icons, and we'll catch you on the next one.